This meeting is being recorded.
Yes, it is. All right. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. We're excited to answer your questions and just make sure that you guys have all the support you need with anything that you're going through. So we're going to go ahead and jump in. I think Marie definitely has a few questions. Marie, would you like to start off?
Oh, no, let me just listen for a while.
Okay. All right. So does anybody have any other pressing questions or issues that they've been struggling with and are just needing some help on? Oh, we got a few hands. Okay, let's go with NQ first, and then we'll go to Yumi.
Okay, so there's this one. I love putting pieces up on Piano Marvel and, slicing and mincing. And at once, I don't know if it's in one of these meetings or where, but I thought I heard of a way to do the slicing and the chopping and mincing quicker, that there's a browser extension or something. Am I making this up, or does this really exist?
I can't think of anything. You might be making it up, but there is, are you using the clone chopped slicings when you go to make your minced slicings? There's a little button you can
You
click
mean
that
that
says,
you just copy all of them?
it just, yeah, so you say clone it, and then it,
occasionally I do, and occasionally that's more work than it's worth.
okay.
I think
Yeah,
Josh
but I know about
Mills-
that, yeah. But somebody said there was some sort of way to do this, and it must be, maybe it doesn't exist.
I think if I'm remembering right, and I may not be remembering right, but I think Josh Mills made a video about an app or something that does that.
Then I'll get in touch with Josh, okay?
Okay, yeah, I have not seen that video by him, and I've never heard of that, which is strange because I don't imagine that there's an app specifically for Piano Marvel to be able to do that. So I'm wondering what it does and how it does it. But yeah, interesting.
Because I
I'll
put up
definitely look
pieces,
into
but
it too.
my kids want them chopped and minced,
Yes, and that's
And
important.
not
That's
everybody-
really important.
Yeah, so I've taught them how to use, the sliding bars on the laptops and the Chromebooks, but the ones that have iPads, we can't do that.
Sounds like Lawrence may have something.
So
on
Michelle,
this.
there's also one more problem, which I sent you in the chat because I wasn't sure if it was public or not. So you can check it out later.
Okay, I will read that.
Okay.
In the meantime, Yumi, do you want to go ahead with your question?
Michelle,
So I have,
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, I think Lawrence has something to chime in about what Ann Q was talking about before we move on.
Okay, yeah, Lawrence, go ahead. Sorry about that. I can't see everybody at the same time, so speak up. If you just raise your hand, I probably won't see you.
okay, yes, I remember Josh saying something about that. The way I remember it was just like a script or a macro that someone else did for themselves.
Yeah.
Accessible that would have been.
So it's a script, but is it only for Macs? Is that what you implied just now?
I imagine it's probably works on a platform that
Got it. Okay.
I was gonna say just 2 seconds. I could take a look back through the teacher Facebook group or something and try and see if I could find it too. Because I remember someone, it wasn't Josh himself, but some member, maybe a teacher, created something like that. And he mentioned it to everyone if they wanted to try it out. So
if you find it, I would love it.
What I've done a few times is instead of kind of planning it for each section individually, just making them all 4 bars long or something like that. So then you can just add the numbers in when you're making the slicings. It's not kind of made for each.
Yeah, I've done that, but that's not the best. Yeah.
Okay, I'm done then.
Thank you.
And if anybody does find that video, please put it in the chat. And then if it's after the fact, when this is all over, then just send it to me so I can make sure that everybody gets that.
Good. Okay.
Thank you. Awesome. And then Anne, I just saw your other question. You were just asking about a student or a couple students who didn't get the extended 30-day trial. So I don't know if any of you don't know this, but we only offer a 7-day trial for like the general public. But if you are a teacher, which means you have a student linked to you, at least one, or you are a student linked to a teacher, then you get 30 days, which can be really important for students and teachers trying to help them like really get on board with Piano Marvel in that first month. So make sure you do have them linked to you. It sounds like Anne just she gave them some instructions and they didn't understand how to take them and they didn't end up getting their 30 days. So she's asking if we can extend that for them. So I think I need a little more information about how long ago it was and stuff like that. So Anne, just email me after this and we'll see what we can do to fix that. But that is important. And if you find that your students are having that's happening often, then just let me know. Maybe we can come up with a better system to help them make sure that's happening.
It was within the last couple of days, like yesterday or the day before. Yeah.
Then that's definitely something we can fix.
Yeah.
So just email me, like their names and
Thank
stuff,
you.
emails and stuff. Yep. Okay. All right. So now let's go to Yumi with her question.
Okay, so I have 2 questions. So one of them is basically when I teach students on iPad, when I teach students on Zoom, and when the students are using iPad, the play mode doesn't seem to work, only practice mode. And it has been happening like this. So is anyone experiencing like this problem?
I know that was happening a while ago. I thought it had been fixed. Cami, you do a lot of this. Cami, do you have an answer for this one?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was looking at, are you talking about, I missed your question, but are you talking about when you're on Zoom?
Yeah,
Yes,
and the student is on an iPad.
Yes, so this still is a problem. And I know that it's only on iOS that it's a problem, that when you're on Zoom, they can only be in practice mode while you're in that Zoom lesson, not in play mode. It will just like be frozen. It won't go.
And this is an issue that they're working on, right? I know Cami, you've been kind of bugging them to get this fixed.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have another like fix for this in the meantime? Have you been using a different video platform? Like what have you been doing?
Me? I have been, if I asked them if they by chance have a laptop, I asked them to use that instead. Something
at least for your lesson, right? Not necessarily for their practicing.
Yeah,
but
just during the lesson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's been rather inconvenient though, because if they don't have one, I do it in practice mode. I can't use the play mode, or I have them leave the meeting to practice something and come back. But I like to be in there while they're in play mode. So I have definitely been a squeaky wheel, and they are like, yes, we are going to take care of this. This is definitely priority. But I think they had to get something else done first in order to do that. And so I ask Michelle, I bring it up at meetings all the time, saying this is still an issue. We need to get this done. So but yeah, that's essentially what I do, is I say, if it's possible, if they have a computer of some other kind in their home that they can use during the lesson, that's ideal until this gets fixed. But or I just do practice mode, so working on their scales, Scale Ninja, Arpeggio Ninja, or in practice mode in whatever they're working on. But it is supposed to be fixed as soon as possible.
Okay, yes, so that's what I've been as well, asking my students to switch to laptop. So I think it's quite similar. And also the other question is, it's also about Zoom. So there's, of course, audio setting, musician, original sound, and all these settings. So before the class, on my student side and on my end as well, we make sure everything is, properly set for the class. But no matter what I do, all the time the audio cuts off and I can't hear the piano properly from students. So I end up calling my students on the mobile, and then because I've got an unlimited service or something, so I end up calling my students on the mobile and then connect it. But horrible. So yeah. Do you have any other platform I could use for the better sound quality?
I have a suggestion to that, because I had that on the onset myself. However, if you go into your I think it's the audio, that little arrow button up, go to the settings, and there's some oh goodness, radio buttons to change. You want to make sure you have the what is it? The audio off. It's whatever you have on, it has to be switched off. And although it tells you use this as a musician, musician feature, don't use it, because that you might be using the thing that they're telling you to use, but don't use that, because that's going to get that cut out. And you got to make sure you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I was
Candy?
going to add a few things to it. Yeah, because, well, so we actually have a course about teaching online that goes a lot into detail to make sure, you know, to go through some of those issues to fix them. But a short synopsis. Now, you mentioned the settings, but there's some settings that people don't always know about. So I just wanted to check with you. So you do have original sound for musicians. But you want to make sure under that to have check marked. The second checkbox. What is it?
I know what you're talking about. That's the
So
one.
it says, I'm going to have to look it up really quick here. But also, as soon as I look that one up, but also you also want to have unchecked the one that says automatically adjust microphone volume.
That's the one.
That's really important to have that unchecked. And the one to have checked is under original sound. Check the echo cancellation box. Make sure that's checked. Everyone on the call has to have those two things done, or else if somebody is not using headphones, and
Yes.
then that's a problem. If everybody's on headphones, that echo cancellation one doesn't have to be checked, but inevitably somebody is not on headphones. So I always have that checked as well. Those two things often cause issues. If you have found that some of your students you don't have any issues with, and some you do have issues with, the issues on their end, not yours. So you have
I
to
normally have all of my students like this, and it's very
then
frustrating.
it's probably on your end if it's all the students. So do you have your settings to have that box unchecked and then the one echo cancellation checked?
So is that audio setting like on iPad? Can you change on iPad at all?
You actually can't. You have to go onto a computer.
Okay.
Just go into your Zoom account
Zoom
on a
Yes.
computer, because you actually have more settings that you can adjust from the
Okay.
computer than from your iPad, and especially that one that is automatically adjust microphone volume that needs to be unchecked. You can't you can't do either of those from an iPad. So yeah, that may be your issue right there. And of course it will adjust on your iPad once you do it on the computer, because it's the Zoom settings.
Now, Cami, is uncheck automatically what?
Automatically adjust microphone volume. There's a
Oh,
box there. Did your issues get resolved, Cheryl, that you were working on as far as this was concerned with your echoing that you had with your student in
yes,
Texas?
I got that resolved.
Excellent. Okay. So I would say at least try that first, Yumi, to see, but it would need to be you and the students. And Zoom is weird in
So
that
automatically, automatically adjust microphone is off.
yeah, let me pull it up again. Automatically adjust microphone. Whoops. What just happened?
It says it's been off on my end. I don't know.
Okay, so I just checked my settings and my automatically adjust microphone volume is checked and I have no problems with sound. I mean, I've got everybody set up so that we can hear them and they can hear me. So is there an exception to this or something?
Sorry, Asher's whining, so I've been muted. Hey, it's okay. You wanna say hi?
I'm sorry, Yumi. I
It's
accidentally.
okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
She basically, or Cami had, or sorry, Anne had said that she does have it checked to automatically adjust microphone volume or whatever, and
Mhm.
it does work for her and all her students. Like it's
No
I was just
problem.
wondering if there's an
Yeah,
exception.
it doesn't
And I
always
said,
cause it.
there
Yeah,
there is
but
like
that's something to
for
do
some
if you
people.
are having issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So you don't need to change it if it's working for you. But if it
Great,
isn't working, then that usually is the problem.
Yeah,
Mhm. Or, well, the one more often that I see is the issue is when they don't have the oh, it signed me out of my Zoom when
The
I was doing
echoing
all these
one?
things. Yeah,
Yeah.
under original sound for musicians, if they don't have the echo cancellation checked, that's usually the issue more than the other one, but they can both
Echo.
be issues.
So echo cancellation should be off.
It should be
To be
checked.
on.
Yeah.
my son, yeah.
Yeah, check
Okay.
mark that one. Under original sound for musicians, do have that one checked.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And the one to have unchecked is above that. It's above the radio buttons, and it's just a one line thing automatically. I can't see it anymore because I
Yeah, automatically adjust microphone, and that should be
Yeah.
off, right?
yes. Yeah. So
If you
try
are
that.
still having issues, like technology is so complicated, and the fact that we're all using different devices and our students are using different devices, and we have different headphones, and maybe you need a noise canceling like attachment for your head. Like there's so many different options and things that could be going wrong.
Mhm.
So honestly, if you can get in touch with Zoom help, that might be the most effective if you are still having problems after making sure that your settings are all what works for everybody else. Because it could be just hardware like things.
But do teachers here all use Zoom for online lessons?
Almost all of us do, yeah.
There are some other conferencing platforms that have better sound. The issue that I have found with those is they don't allow the student to share their screen. Like it's not user friendly for using Piano Marvel.
Okay.
So there are some options, but they kind of handicap other parts of what you're teaching. So,
Right. Yeah.
But if you're teaching, so, and I'd be happy to troubleshoot with you more if you find that doesn't work as well. In addition to reaching out to Zoom, if there's something that that we can figure out too.
Oh, that would be great because it's been really problematic for me.
Makes
yeah.
a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and in terms of the other issue that's just Piano Marvel just having issues, Cami and I will continue to bother them and prod them until they get it done, because I think that from the development perspective, they see other issues as being more important, but from a teaching perspective, like you can't teach effectively if this isn't working. So
Right.
I don't think they
Yes.
understand. They're just not in the teaching mindset. So
And
I think we need to bug them some more and try to explain this. Like our customers can't use it right now in some cases.
I'm just gonna highlight Lawrence really quick because he was I can't spotlight him. I don't have that. But he was just showing everyone what those settings look like. Can you put that back up, Lawrence?
I'll spotlight him as well. Let him go.
Just using the webcam on my screen here.
Yeah.
So you
Well,
got
I can do that.
settings. I'm just holding it so it's a bit. So this one, don't select that one.
Mm-hmm.
Microphone volume, and do select original sound and echo cancellation. Those are the important ones.
And if you have issues with the bandwidth, with the video cutting in and out, you may need to uncheck high fidelity music mode under original sound because it uses more bandwidth. And if you don't have hardware that can handle it, you're going to have cutting in and out. But it doesn't sound that that's your issue, right?
Yeah. I think it's also a student side as well.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yes.
Well, let us know if that, works. And if you and your students put those settings into place. And if not, I'm happy to jump on and do more troubleshooting.
Okay, so we have a question from Shayla. Yumi, was that all of your questions, or do you have any more?
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem at all. Okay, so for Shayla, she sent this one to me in the chat, so I'll just read it. She says, I have some students at school who have OT issues. I don't know if that's Shayla, if you want to chime in on what OT issues are? I'm not sure. It might be occupational therapy. Not sure. But they weren't able to get 100 on any of the lessons. And she says their hand-eye coordination is off and playing on the beat is beyond their ability. I just sat with them, making sure they got the concept and then had them move on and practice the next lesson. Any ideas of other options? It's hard when I have 24 students at a time to give very much one-on-one time like to each student. So that can be an issue. I would say not every student needs to get 100%. That can actually be detrimental to some students, especially students who have issues with anxiety or learning disabilities, things like that. Like you don't like making them get 100% is going to be effective in a lot of those cases. Sorry, there's a leaf blower right out my window. Let me move. Yeah, sometimes that just is not the most effective way. So for those students who are having issues, I definitely think more. I'm trying to get away from this.
I'm on a meeting.
Having more one-on-one time is great if you can do that. If you can't, then I know you've kind of started using the buddy system a little bit, which is going to be really helpful. But honestly, like giving them different goals, different benchmarks, if they are really struggling, that's not a bad thing. So even 100%, that's great for a lot of students, but for a lot of students, maybe 96 is plenty. That's a goal. That's a great thing to shoot for, but it takes way less time because you don't have to get it perfect.
Well, and then what I did is I said if they got 90 or higher, they could move on to the next lesson. But because it was the lesson challenge in September, they were so driven that they had to get that golden ticket that I couldn't get them to move on. And so
gotcha. Okay.
I wondered what other people have done, because sometimes the kids that have that hand-eye coordination, that OT means occupational therapy. So they work with an occupational therapist at the school. But I kept thinking, this probably is helping. It's probably good therapy for their occupational therapy. I mean, piano's wonderful for something like that. But is there something other than giving them, so some of them really couldn't get above a 60 or 70. So I would just sit with them and till I could see that they have the idea, they get what a whole note is, they get where the middle C is, then I'd have them move on. So I just didn't know if there's something else I'm missing that I should be doing.
There are two things I can think of, and then I don't know, other people might have other answers too. But one is games. I'm sure they're doing a lot of this in occupational therapy, so it may not be helpful. Maybe you don't need to do it, but there are a lot of times when you can just say, hey, let's focus on, working on that hand-eye coordination more than actually getting a score. And just taking kind of the pressure off of that and saying like, hey, let's work on like just playing at the same time that we're hearing. Things like that. So instead of working on scores, but like you said, they're kind of motivated by wanting those scores, so that can be hard to get them out of that mindset. A good one for that would be sight reading samurai, because they get like fireworks that are like, yay, you did it at 80%. So I make my students, as soon as they go above 80% and they get those fireworks, move on. So it's like a different goal than most of the other things in Piano Marvel, because it's just read, like get through it. And for students who are struggling with that could be a really good motivation, because they still get their little celebration. It's just not at 100% or 90%, 96%. It's 80, which is much more doable for these students. The other thing I was thinking of probably more important, is I often, even with students who don't have like clear and cut issues with hand-eye coordination, but they're young students or they're just overthinking, is often they're not listening enough. They're watching the cursor too much. They're over analyzing. They're like paying way too much attention to the visual and getting it like a video game. They're like, this is a video game. I have to like hit it exactly when that cursor goes over. And that's not how music works. So we're not training them correctly if that's what we're letting them do. So I often have to say, hey, close your eyes, try again. Or look down at your fingers. And of course, when we're reading, that's the exact opposite of what to do. But this is a rhythm issue. So they don't need to be reading and focusing so hard on that cursor, because that can be a really big detriment to rhythm. So instead I say, hey, look at your hands or close your eyes. We put a something over the screen, whatever they need to be able to just focus on listening and emulating what they're hearing.
Well, and
That can be really, really helpful for students that are having rhythm problems.
in that vein, you can actually turn off the blue cursor and turn up the metronome, so that they're relying on their ears more instead of their eyes. You know, if that is playing into that issue there too.
Yep, that's true. And
How do you turn
I
off the blue cursor? Just go into settings on the
Preference.
Okay.
preferences. Yeah, preferences on the top right.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, and I don't know if I've noticed with some of my students, like any success is like great for them. So even on that whole note exercise, it has chopped and minced. And if they can just get 100% on one note, then they are so excited that they did it, you know. But I don't know if you're saying that even that is beyond them. If so, then that would not be a good goal. But if they have any breaking it down even smaller and getting 100% on something, so they feel like I got 100%, you can break it down super small. And now Piano Marvel has the ability to break it down to whatever you want, like very, very specific, and get a score at any tempo. So that's a new thing Piano Marvel has, and that might be helpful for the students to feel that measure of like, I succeeded.
Actually, now that you say that, Cami, I wonder if the biggest problem that Shayla you're experiencing is just that the students don't know how to use all of the tools effectively. Like you're just saying, okay, here's Piano Marvel, let's do this. And some of the students are getting it just innately, and other students just don't understand how to use all of the tools. So they're just playing the same piece from start to finish over and over, and that doesn't get anybody anywhere usually. So maybe the better thing, rather than sitting down with students and saying, okay, let's drill this and let's work on it together, is saying, okay, let's learn how to go through this piece. What do you think you should do next? And watching how they go about using the software, if they use learn mode, if they then do practice until they get 100%, and then they go on to play, and then they work on like if they do those things, or if they're just sitting there kind of not knowing what to do next. Because that my suspicion is just they don't know, they don't know how to use it as effectively as the students that are being more successful.
What age group is
they're
this
young
group?
Well, I teach 1st through 6th, but the 3rd and 4th grade and 5th and 6th are the ones I'm focusing on.
So they're 8 and older typically that you're working with. Is it the younger ones, or does it not apply to age?
There's actually some 5th and 6th graders, 10 and 11-year-olds that are having that disconnect. But I think having them slow down, having them set a goal, I've thought about having them, instead of even be in play mode, just do practice mode, and then have them work on go in the library and choose a piece. You know, when I turned kids loose to go in the library and choose a piece they want to learn, then they were coming up with all kinds of upper division things instead of the beginning. So I showed them how to choose a beginning one, and I found some of the Disney ones that they could start with. It's a Small World or something. So
some
anyway.
things that can save you time in the long run too is maybe this during like Christmas break, if you have any time, to just create some books or bundles of like these are beginner pieces that would be really easy for you to learn. These are intermediate pieces that you can look forward to learning later, just so that they know, instead of having the entire library of 20,000 plus pieces to choose from, they just have, oh, these are some that my teacher recommends that are, in my skill level.
And
So that, it just saves you some time. You don't have to go help each individual kid look through everything.
I regularly log in as a student and put stuff in their favorites. I'm doing that all the time, just about every week.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, fundamentals is also a great place to start because they've essentially a curated list of group of pieces that are great for performance. They start with their earlier levels right now. What level are you guys on right now, Michelle?
So the level, or the book 1 just covers levels 1 and 2. So very easy pieces.
Just turn them to the fundamentals book then would be a good
yes,
starting
but
place.
make absolutely certain that they're watching the videos before trying the pieces, because they can look difficult. If you just look at the music, it's like, this is a level 4 or something, but it's very easy if they're learning by rote. And the whole purpose of these beginning levels are just to learn by watching, listening, and emulating what they're seeing and hearing. So make sure that they watch those videos and then learn with the video. And then you should watch the teacher video so you can help them with their technique and their posture and things, like, so you know what each piece is supposed to be teaching them, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. But that could be
So
very
where is
useful.
that found? What is this that you're talking about right now? Where is that in
So
Piano
fundamentals, it is in the library. So you just search fundamentals. There's 2 books in there. One is fundamentals, that's for the students, and the other one is fundamentals teacher accompaniments. So that's for you, and that's where you can find all of the videos about how to teach it and what technique concepts it's supposed to be teaching for each piece.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, very, very useful stuff. Oh, and Q is sharing with us. Let me spotlight her so everybody can see really quick.
Okay, there it's right there.
So yeah, that's the teacher accompaniments one right there. And then the regular fundamentals.
That's all I have. Am I supposed to have another one in here?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Let's see what happens.
Oh, that's interesting.
So that first one right there is for students. So that's the one your students will work through, and this has it in order exactly how they should learn it, because it's like math. You have to learn to add before you can learn to multiply, before you can learn to do calculus, So just like that.
I thought I was missing something.
Yes. Yep. So you were looking at just the teacher accompaniments, which is all for you. That's for you as teachers to go learn the accompaniments and the shadow part, which is essentially you're doing both parts at the same time. So you can show them their part and your part, or they can hear the accompaniment while you're showing them your part. So it's very, very useful. And then of course it has those videos to help you too. So that's super cool. We have, I thought I heard somebody asking something. I'm sorry if I'm not getting to everybody quickly. It's hard to see all of you. If you do have questions and you want to get in line, please send me a message or a message to the whole group so I can kind of put you on the list.
Well, and I was going to mention the webinar last week. Is there a recording of that?
Yes, there is a webinar that was recorded, and it's just on YouTube as well. So I'll just share that in Facebook, and then I can send it in an email afterward as well. That's a very helpful too. But yeah, these or what they're called, fundamentals courses. I mean, it's game changing. It's been more than a decade, probably 15 years of not even realizing we were working on this in particular, but everything that we have been working on just kind of coming together into this series, and it's so helpful. I can't believe we didn't think of it sooner, but it's really exciting. Okay, so Yaniv, you have the next question. So let me find you. There you are. All right, Yaniv, what is your question?
So a couple actual quick questions. So number one, well, first off, before that, I just have something for the person with occupational therapy for the children. Because I know some of my students have a little bit of a hard time too. So instead of them getting quote a golden ticket at 100%, I set my goal to be like 80% for them or something like that. Just have a Google sheet and I just kind of tally up their tickets so they can see it that way and see them earning. And as I get better over the challenges over the months, I'll increase that to like 85, 90 until they could get the golden tickets. Just some food for thought. It's a little bit more work on the teacher's end, but sometimes the student enjoys it so they can keep checking their progress without having them to ask you all the time. Just food for thought. But my questions, Michelle, number one, regarding the iPad with the play mode, that was one of my questions. But if you do the learn mode and do play there, does it work or does that still cause issues on the iPad?
On the
Do you-
iPad, as far as I understand it, any using play mode at all just like breaks it if you're using it with Zoom at the same time. So if you're
Okay.
not in a Zoom lesson, they're going to be able to use it just like normal, but it's something with like Zoom is taking over something that Piano Marvel needs to be using. And they still need to figure out how to like fix that issue in the back. And
Okay.
so until they do that, I don't think play is going to work at all while using Zoom. Unfortunately.
And then second question, regarding the highlighting of the music. I know on the computer it's not an issue, that at least I've tried. On the iPad, I haven't been successful in that department. Is it something new that works for iPad as well, or is it still only for PC or laptops?
Yeah, so they just changed it. If you have the newest update for iPad, you should be able to pull these little blue bars. So there didn't used to be these blue bars anywhere. Now you can take the blue bar, which I guess it's at the very beginning and very end of the piece. And then when you pull it, you can, pull it to wherever you want it to be. So instead of like clicking and highlighting or dragging, it's just, okay, pull this to the start and then pull this one to the end of where I want it to assess me. And then you can click, there are now 2 check marks. There's one on the top left, one on the, so like treble and bass, and then you can check off or on the right hand or left hand. So that all is new.
I don't see it on my iPad. What do I need to do?
It goes away if you don't click on it within the first like 6 seconds, I think. So yeah.
Oh.
So exit out of it and then try it again and let me know if you see the
All right,
blue
I'll do that
bars.
right now. Sure. I'll log out and log back in.
And also, I'm not sure about this one, but with the OT issue, would boot camps come into play perhaps where they're just seeing progress?
Possibly.
I'm not sure about that one.
Boot camps can be good. Boot camps are something like to be used kind of sparingly and for specific reasons because it's very like
intense,
radical. It's a radical way of learning.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it.
So boot camps are you're not seeing it, Anne?
No.
Okay, I can help you. You should be able to see it, but just a minute. Okay. Boot camps are essentially helping students to focus on just playing what they can and forget the rest. So the whole point of a boot camp is to go in and try to have some sort of progress over time. And you should have your students go in expecting to get really awful scores, like 1 digit scores, like below 10% most of the time when they start, especially these students who are already struggling a lot. Tell them, hey, I wonder if you can reach 10%. Let's see. Maybe not. I don't think you can, but let's see. So you're like starting them off at this idea that they're going to absolutely bomb. It's going to be horrible, but the point is that that's okay. And then we just want to see if they can get to, let's say they get an 8%. Let's see if you can get 10% next time. Let's see if you can get 12% next time. So very baby steps. And the whole point is to say, okay, what notes do you know in this? You know C? Okay, let's play middle C every time it comes up. And then as they get comfortable with that, and you say, okay, well, what notes around it do you know? And they're like, I don't know any. Okay, well, the one above C is called D. Let's see if you can play both C and D anytime that those notes come up. So it's just helping them to pick out what they know and just not worry about what they don't know, which can help a lot with kids that have anxiety or problems with like trying to, perfectionist issues. So I don't know if that would help with these kids that she was worried about with their, these students that have problems with hand-eye coordination. It could be something to try out though. But sorry, Yenny, we kind of went back to that. So did that answer all of your questions or did you have a couple more?
Just one more, but thank you
Okay.
for the answers.
Yeah.
As well as just printing the sheet music. Do you think possible, because I know when I ask students to jump onto the laptop too, like, because a lot of my students like iPad and just make it easy. Is there going to be a feature later on maybe where they're able to print that sheet music off the iPad, like how you could do it on the computer, or because
I didn't even know that was not available on
Yeah,
iPad.
I thought you
Can I go-
could. I didn't
I thought you
realize
could
that.
too. Let me go check. It might be that it's in a different place.
okay, because
Let me
I
go
just see
check.
when they click the exercise or something like that, or when it pops up, it just shows chart.
Okay.
But at least on my end, maybe I'm doing something wrong. But
Yeah, let me take a look. I thought you could print from an iPad. Then again, I've never printed anything off of an iPad. So
me
If you go
neither.
anything at all.
under settings, do you have the option to print?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay.
So I'm just getting in right now, making sure I'm not lying. But yeah, it sounds like Carrie found it. So if you go to the piece and then there's a little gear.
Yeah, at the
Yeah,
top,
yeah.
on the top right. If you click on that, like I've had students print it off before from there.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're right. Okay. So it used to be on the, I guess on the web, I think it's on the bottom left.
On the web, it's
And
on the bottom left, and yeah.
yeah. And so I think it's just, it's confusing. It's in different places. So sorry about that, about it being a little confusing. But yeah, yep, you can print. I just found it.
Okay.
And then in terms of the, okay, I'm not seeing it either, Anne, where you're able to.
No, I've tried everything.
Okay.
I've gone through various settings. The version of Piano Marvel is 2.07. Is that the latest?
17, wait, 2.07? I think that is.
Yeah, 2.0.7. That's
Okay. So maybe we don't have it available for iPad yet because I'm still having to do the where you go into Mixer and then click to which measure you want it to go to.
Yeah.
I thought it was available, but I maybe they're waiting because what they're working on currently, this kind of, I don't know if it's a secret, but they're about to launch the looping feature. So I think all these features, the being able to drag it with the little blue bars, being able to select which hand you're using or assessing, and the looping is all kind of connected. So they may be finishing out everything before launching it on iOS as well. So
Yeah.
sorry about that to give false info, but
Works really well on the Chromebooks. It's on Chromebooks. It's really
cool.
works good.
I'm glad you like it. Yeah, sometimes they do just want to like really test something out before they move it to another platform. So I'd assume that's but okay. Yaniv, did that answer all of your questions?
It did, Michelle. Thank you. I'll double check
Okay.
with my students too to troubleshoot some of the stuff
Cool.
too. Thank you.
Yeah, and if you do have other things that are going on, don't hesitate to reach out to support. You have awesome support people.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yep. Okay,
Valerie
let's
is
see.
raising.
I don't have any others in the chat. Well, sorry, just a second.
Valerie's raising her hand.
Okay,
Michelle.
go ahead, Valerie.
Yeah, I have a question. This is for the teacher course. So whenever you finish, I mean, I was able to print off my little certificates, which are nice. So once we finish that, is there something next? Should I do something else or?
No, so that's it. Basically, we just are remember when we were like, we're about to launch this, we decided to change to an entirely different platform for how this, like the teacher portion, like teacher portal is going to work. So you're great. You're fine. We just need to move everything over to basically a new website plugin because we're going to have like a little personal Facebook for you guys to connect with each other and answer each other's questions and things like that. It's going to be really great when we get it done. It's just going to it's going to take a little bit longer than we had originally thought. So hopefully this month at some point it'll all be up and running. But yeah, basically Cammie's the one that has the knowledge of this new program that we're using. And she was on a cruise and then she got sick. I don't know if you can't tell as much today, but she's been deathly ill. I can't even believe she's here right now. So, hopefully she's feeling better soon.
I hope so. Thank you. And yeah, we're going to jump on that as soon as we can, but we want it to be the best that it can possibly be. And we were just not satisfied with what we had created at that point. And we thought, okay, we've got to make this even better. So
yeah, we just want to make it as useful as possible for you guys and as like user friendly and easy and something that you guys find actual value in and really want to use and your students want to use. So yeah, we just, like Cammie said, we just weren't quite satisfied with it. We never got to a point where we're like, yeah, this is going to be great. We're really excited for teachers to use this. So we kind of pivoted. So sorry to be going a little longer and not having that out when we said we were going to, but we think it's going to be much better.
So what does
I
the
would
teacher
just
course do?
like to say that I am so excited about all of the new things that Piano Marvel keeps doing. And I'm very patient in all the wonderful things that you are doing. And it's just marvelous. And we already have features that are something I never even dreamed you would be doing. So thank you very much. And we'll be patient.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You're always so sweet and complimentary, Evelyn. We love that. And we do like really our main priority, especially for me and Cammie, where this is like where we put all of our effort and our heart into. You guys mean the world to us. And we just want to see you guys succeed, but also just have a great community of teachers surrounding you and have all of the resources that you need. So thank you so much for understanding.
So can you explain this teacher course? What is that all about?
Yeah, so we have I think I want to say 5 courses. We have one main course, which is just like the ins and outs of using
she's
Piano
frozen.
Marvel effectively. Oh, am I frozen? No?
well,
Okay.
I guess I could talk about it until she comes back, but oh, she's back.
Am I back? I could
Yeah.
hear you guys talking about how I was frozen, but I could hear you. So I was like, what is going on? Yeah. So yeah, we have I think it's 5 now courses, but the main course is just the ins and outs of how to use Piano Marvel effectively with your students. I think it's super important and every Piano Marvel teacher should take it.
Well, that's what I need. So
Cool.
where do I find that at?
Yes, it's pianomarvel.com/courses. I can just type it right here in.
Michelle, I have it up on my screen if you want to take a look at that.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
So
So
is
this
it
is
just on the internet then?
Yeah, it's on the internet. It is a self-paced online course. There's videos and it'll ask you to do assignments and then come back and kind of report on that. But it's also like very much hands-on if you need our help. So anytime that you run into an issue or you're just unsure of something, you just reach out to me and then I or Cammie, we will help you through that and make sure that you understand completely and feel really confident before you move on. So it is self-paced online. It's broken. But you get a lot of hands-on help when you need it.
Okay, so now it sounds like a lot of you teach over Zoom. I don't do that. I go to individual homes and teach my students in their homes. And so will this help me to know how to just have them use Piano Marvel to help them be better at what they're learning? Or
Yes. So one of the courses that we have, not the one I'm talking about, but there's like several specific ones for specific skills. One of them is teaching online. So that's like a specific thing of its own that you don't have to take. The one that we're talking about here, the first one that I think everyone should take, that is just the ins and outs of how to use Piano Marvel. It doesn't go into like the online stuff. Most of our teachers do teach at least one student online because they've had somebody move out or something, or I wouldn't even say most, a lot of teachers do, but almost everyone teaches in person as well. So it's not like this is for online piano teachers. Originally, it was for in-person group piano, and then it has kind of
if you guys
gone
want,
outward from there.
if you guys want to spotlight me, then everybody can see these pages. I've got them up.
Yeah, we can see if you're, or I guess I can spotlight too, but if you're on speaker view, then while you're talking, we can see you. But here, how do I spotlight you when you're already, there we go. Oops.
Was I muted?
I know, sorry, I muted you on accident trying to spotlight you. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Okay, so now you were spotlighted. So this is the teacher portal. I guess currently we have 4 courses. The first one, that Piano Marvel teacher, that's the required one. And so once you pay for it's about to be $150. We actually haven't upped it yet, but so it's $75 right now for the entire portal. So here's all of them.
Here's that class. This is that class.
Yeah, and that's the one that is, I think, most important for you. So, Anne, could you go back, or I guess this is fine too, actually. Just grab this link right here.
Yeah, I'll grab that one right there.
Not the online one.
Oh, the other one, the top one?
Yes, the top one. Grab that and then throw the link in the chat, please.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll do that.
And she can also pay through that portal also, right?
There we go.
She can what, Valerie?
She can pay through that portal.
Yes. Yep. Exactly. So just click on that link, Marie, and then that'll take you directly to where you can pay the $75. If you signed up for a subscription, you just click purchase, and that does it automatically, and then you can start taking it. I also think that would be really helpful. One second, I also think it'd be really helpful just to call me, like have a phone conversation with me, so we can figure out how to best approach this with your students. Because every situation is different, and I've helped a lot of teachers in lots of different scenarios get their students started and, like successful.
The way I find this is I go over here to my account, and there's a thing there that says teacher training, and then I can find all the classes back again. Anytime when I don't know where they are, I just go there. Okay. So it's easy. You have access to it. Once you're in, you have access to all of that.
Yep.
Oh, and we just froze. Did I go black?
I can hear you.
No, my computer screens all went black. I have nothing. I've got 2 black screens here.
Well, we hear you.
Well, and I hear you guys. My computer's been giving me trouble, but this is the worst.
Interesting.
This is awful. Okay, you're coming back. I'm trying to do too many things here.
All right. But anyway, thank you so much, Anne, for showing that. Marie, does that give you an idea of how to proceed from here?
Yes.
Okay. And again, I would love to just have a talk with you, see what you need help with. That's what I do. That's what I love doing, is helping teachers stop feeling overwhelmed by it and feel confident. So.
And she's really good.
Thank you. I really do love it. I love helping you guys. All right, so we're about at the hour. Are there any other pressing questions or issues that anybody'd like to bring up before we go?
I have one question, Michelle.
Yeah, go
This
ahead.
is Sheila. So I did take the piano course, and I looked on my account and tried to figure out where I could download a receipt, because the school will pay for my training, but I can't find any. Okay, is that something you guys could send me a receipt somehow?
A receipt for paying for that?
Yeah.
I think I can. Send me an email. I think I just have to find the receipt in PayPal and then forward it to you. So
that's what I need.
Okay, perfect.
Thanks.
Yeah, just send me an email and we'll get that taken care of.
Thank you.
Cool. Yep. All right. Anything else?
Yeah.
Cheryl.
I need to talk to Cammie afterwards. I'll call you on the phone, Cammie.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Going once.
Get better soon, Cammie.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
Appreciate it.
so sweet. Thank you guys for being here. It was so fun to get to talk to you guys. I know we've been doing a lot of like presentation style ones lately, and I thought you probably needed a chance to just get your questions out and get some answers at this point. So thanks for being here and for having questions. It's always great to talk to you guys. Again, if you do have anything else you need some help with in, the future, I'm always available. Cammy's available. Just send us an email and we'll be happy to help you out. So
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you.
All right, have a great
Bye. Feel better,
We'll see ya.
Cammie.
Yes.
Thank you.
Feel better, Cammy.
Bye.
Bye.